Hey everybody, Austin Hill Shaw here, founder of Creativity Matters and author of The Shoreline of Wonder on Being Creative. First of all, I want to thank everybody who commented on last week's blog, the talk that I gave at Google. It was really great to hear your appreciation and support for that. It meant a lot to me. I personally felt like I could have done a lot better. I did a bit of a brain dump while I was up there, but it's all part of the learning process. And by going through experiences like that, it allows me to know what I want to do better. And I have had experiences, other talks, where I just feel like this deep, deep sense of connection with the audience and with the material. And even though I love the talk on the subjects of mindfulness and creativity, it's interesting how I could default into a position of a real mental presentation. But still, I appreciate you all so much for all your comments. So thank you so much. Today I want to talk about one of the most significant aspects and one of the most, how should I say, profound and regular sources of inspiration that I have in my life. And I'm going to get that to in just a moment. And before I do that, I want to tell a quick story pertaining to this source of inspiration. So in 2007, I was living on a retreat center, a Buddhist retreat center, and I was living there almost entirely by myself on 40 acres. I was up a dirt road, maybe, 7 miles in from the coast and 3 miles up a dirt road in the central coast of California. And I was there rehabilitating the center. I'm trained in architecture and was doing design work, but also construction management at that place. And it was very difficult to live by yourself and just be running crews. I must say, it was a trying time. And if anybody's ever lived in a construction zone, it's really hard, especially if you're in charge of seeing that construction through, because you never really feel like you get a break. You're always looking at the things that need to be done next. And that was my experience. So anyways, in early fall, kind of around mid-September, there was a set of teachings going on about 3 hours south in the town of Ojai, specifically for a person who is working within a group of what are called tantrikas. And there was just a handful of us. And yet at the same time, I chose to go north that weekend to go to a writing retreat at Esalen, put on by something called the Sun magazine. And the founder of there, I met a person named Cy Safransky, who's the editor-in-chief of the Sun magazine. And again, I was feeling a little bit hesitant about, as opposed to going to this sort of esoteric teaching, going up north to this writing retreat. But when I got there, I met all these wonderful writers. I met people who had published within this magazine. And I sat down with Cy Safransky, and I just asked him. I said, I'm not sure why I'm here. I told him about my situation, about perhaps going to these teachings in another place, and I felt a little bit guilty about that. And he said to me, writing is a spiritual path. It is a way by which you understand yourself more completely. And I just remember just the confidence in which he said that, and the love that pours out of his magazine every month. The Sun's been around now for over 40 years, and it has entirely no ads to it. A couple announcements for the Sun itself, but there's no ads in there. It comes out to about a little under 50 pages each issue, and it's an amazing, amazing resource. And that's what I want to talk a little bit about today, that this resource here, the Sun magazine, which is something that comes in my mailbox every month, is perhaps the most consistent source of inspiration that I have. I have learned so much from all these magazines that I've read over the years. Every magazine has, again, it's just 50 pages, but it has beautiful black and white photography. It always starts with an interview with a very progressive thinker on a fairly provocative topic. This one, for example, is all about As We Lay Dying, Stephen Jenkins, on how we deny our mortality. An amazing article in terms of how people as opposed to recognizing that they're going to die, they just avoid it and put it off, and don't even allow themselves to think about it, and then recognize and see it as almost like an insult to the process of living. Anyway, I could do a whole talk on that. But after the interview, there's incredible poetry, incredible literature, short stories, memoirs, and at the end, which is always what I go to first, is this section called Sunbeams. And basically what these are is these are collections of quotes related to an unspoken theme. Now, the whole theme of this issue is kind of around death, again, which is perhaps not a popular topic, but again, when you sink into it, it's really profound. And each month I get these incredible ideas just from the quotes themselves. For example, here's one that says, "Once the game is over, the king and the pawn go back into the same box." That's an Italian proverb. And here's another one that says, from George Bernard Shaw, "Life does not cease to be funny when people die any more than it ceases to be serious when people laugh." So, anyways, this is just an incredibly amazing resource. And it's one that I've been subscribing to for years. I mean, you can just see, just look at these covers, how gorgeous that is. I mean, as a designer, that light coming down on those Adobe-style stairs, I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. Or this picture of what maybe looks like the Brooklyn Bridge. I'm not totally sure, but haven't spent much time in New York. But and then pictures such as this, like just a person kind of in rapture, singing, and just that detail, the light on her hands, and just look at this person who looks like Nepalese or Tibetan. Anyways, it is amazing magazine. It is the writing is always incredibly powerful. More often than not, an article brings tears to my eyes. There's another section here called Readers Write, which is where readers of The Sun submit different things that they've written on a given topic. The topic of this last month was noise. So there's all these short stories, really heartfelt, raw stories about, around this theme of noise, from prisoners, from widows, from addicts, from just everyday ordinary people. I mean, it's just, you really get this sense of humanity that pours out of that. And for me, again, as one who really wants to teach creativity based on as the fact that I see that it is the foundation of who we are as human beings. If we are activating our creativity, we feel satisfied in this world. And if you're not activating our creativity, we don't. And so reading through the sun and just feeling that sense of humanity, feeling the needs, the outpouring, the longing, the anguish, the overcoming of obstacles, to me is really, really inspiring. And I want to make this resource of the Sun magazine available to you as well. And this week I'm going to run basically a giveaway, whereby if you look at the link, there's a place where you can go on a link and you can basically put in your name for the possibility of winning one of 4 subscriptions to the Sun magazine, a year-long subscription to the Sun magazine. The way it works, again, is you enter your information there, and then if you share your link with other people, you get basically 10 points for everybody who signs up under your name. So the whole goal is that you share it out with others, and that way, we have more people that have, again, interest in this wonderful resource, the Sun magazine, and also, of course, interest in Creativity Matters, which is incredibly helpful to me. The other thing about the Sun magazine, the reason I'm so interested in supporting it, is that, again, as a basically a non-profit organization with no ads, they're always on a shoestring budget, just always. And I've given many of the subscriptions out to people over the years just because I think it's so profound, because I believe so much in what they're doing. I mean, it's just, again, such an incredible resource. And if you have any interest at all in developing your creativity or your writing, or just want provocative, juicy things to chew on in your mind, and perhaps to be write about, to be inspired about, or to bring in, whatever you do, if you're a speaker, if you're a teacher, there's just so many things that come out of each one of these issues. It's really incredible. The other person that I learned about through reading the Sun magazine was a gentleman named Houston Smith, who's the author of The World's Religion, and is actually a person who appears in the Shoreline of Wonder. I devote a whole chapter to his life because it's so inspiring. And again, that I found out of that at first in the Sun. I didn't know he even existed, even though I lived within 2 blocks of him while I was an undergraduate. So anyways, again, you will find the link to this giveaway at the bottom of this email. I'll be doing postings on Facebook and Twitter feeds and things of that sort. But please enter and please spread this far and wide. Again, I'll be giving out 4 subscriptions to the Sun this year. And it feels great to support the Sun, and it feels great to support you and share this with you. And even if you don't win, please go out and subscribe to it. It's an incredible resource. And I'm totally indebted to that conversation with Cy and Cy Safransky. Indeed, I do believe that writing is a spiritual path, and I also believe that creativity itself is a spiritual and growth-oriented path, and one that I'm a little bit biased, but I think it's the best thing that we can do in our time, developing our creativity, again, connecting with the world and affecting it in a meaningful way. All that goes into those very simple things, the more that we can hit those, the more we feel on as a human being, the more we feel empowered, the more we feel alive, the more we feel fulfilled. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me this time. I really appreciate you. If you have any comments for me, please leave them in the section below the video. If you're not on my page, you can go visit me at www.austinhillshaw.com, and you can find all sorts of blog entries there, including the clip from the Google Talk last week under the blog entries. But anyways, so nice to spend time with you again. Again, this is Austin Hill Shaw, founder of Creativity Matters, reminding you to connect deeply, to make a difference, and to inspire creativity in others. And don't forget to enter the contest so that you can perhaps have one of 4 possibilities of winning this magazine, okay? For your subscription to this magazine. Thank you so much.